What's going on, Sumolings? It is Chris here from AppSumo, and today I am joined with Devin and Fiona from HR Partner. So for any of you who don't know, HR Partner is a comprehensive HR platform where you can manage employee data and HR processes all in one place. And it's on AppSumo right now, starting off at just $79. It's a great tool, so we're going to be diving into it in just 1 minute. Before we get going, two quick pieces of housekeeping. One, if you have any questions as we're going through, feel free to drop those in the Q&A box, and Fiona is going to be all over them taking care of you guys. And number two, if you have to jump out early or you miss anything, we'll be sending out a replay later in the day, so you can check it out on YouTube there, and we'll be emailing it to everyone who registered for this. So you'll be taken care of there. But that is all I have from me. Devin, I know you got a presentation prepared, so I will let you dive into it, and you can just start your screen share and get going.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. And good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you guys on board and having a look at HR Partner here. Both Fiona and I are really excited about this. The AppSumo campaign's gone fantastic. We've welcomed a whole bunch of people on board, which has been great. And we'd like to see more of you. So I know there's a mix of people here today, people who have actually bought tokens and actually using HR Partner right now. Maybe some of you haven't seen it before. So what I'm going to try and do today is just run through just a quick overview and a run through. So I'm hoping everyone can see my screen right now. Is my screen share on, Chris?
Yep, coming through clearly on my end. Everyone let us know in the comments if you're having any issues, but it looks good to me.
Fantastic. Okay, so HR Partner, basically, we designed this over the last 4 or 5 years to be a HR tool for small businesses, basically. So if you're running a business with anything from 5 right up to 200, 300 employees, we're hoping HR Partner can manage a lot of that hard, heavy lifting for you. Things like onboarding new employees, the recruitment side of things, and just tracking information. We want HR Partner to be a one-stop shop for all your employee information as much as possible. So, we encourage you to put all your attachments, employee contracts and reports and things like that all within this system. And we've got reminders and everything else in our system too that'll help you to keep on track of things that you need to do, because HR managers and business owners are normally pretty busy people, and it's easy to forget things like renewing someone's license or certifications. And you don't want to do that because that leaves you in legal trouble. So we try and make that a lot easier using our tool. So HR Partner has got 2 sides to it. You've got the admin side, which is designed for the HR managers and business owners. And you've also got the employee portal designed for your employees to get in there and actually do things as well. So I'll show you both sides of it very quickly today. So I've logged into the admin portal here, which is what you'll see as a manager. So when you log in, you'll see a helicopter view initially of what you need to do with your employees. So you've got things like important notifications here, like leave requests that have come through or expense claims that have come through and you need to take care of. They can be taken care of from here. Any reminders of anything that's overdue that needs to be chased up with the employees? Whoops, I've clicked too fast ahead. Anything in the future as well. So you can see at a glance when you've got things that you need to do. Scrolling down, you've got a leave calendar here, so you can see who's away at the time. So when you're doing leave planning and things, you can actually see when's a good time to have people away or not. Also, the thing you can do in here, which a lot of people don't realize, you can actually click on any of these leave entries on here and it'll actually zoom in and show you exactly where they are. So those people who are actually using HR Partner right now, that's a little tip there that a lot of people didn't realize you can do that. You can actually zoom straight into a particular record by just clicking on it on the calendar. And of course, you can scroll back and forth through the calendar as well. And if you think this is too small for you to look at, you can click the zoom button and it zooms into a bigger calendar so you can see information a bit more clearly. And if you don't like the traditional calendar view, you can actually switch it over to a Gantt chart view as well. So this is something else that people don't realize for planning. This view here is probably a little bit easier for you to actually have a look at things. And once again, in here, you can click on a leave type and it'll actually zoom in to the actual entry, highlight it for you, ready to go. So you can change it, delete it, add a new one, whatever you need to do as well. Right, so that's a basic overview of the dashboard. We've got some other niceties on there as well. Sorry, it's running a little bit slow today. I think with the webinar running in the background, my connection's a little bit struggling. So, you got other niceties like upcoming birthdays and things like that, and upcoming work anniversaries as well. So you can keep track of the employees. So, if you need to host a party for someone's birthday or anything else, you know what's coming up as well. So that's the dashboard. Let's go in and actually have a look. You'll probably be spending most of your time in this employee section, I'd say, not so much in the dashboard. So if I pull up Gracie here, our favorite guinea pig. This is the information you can store on the employee. So once again, we want this to be one point of contact. So all contact information, you can store as many email addresses as you want, as many phone numbers as you want, and other contact, LinkedIn pages, Instagram pages, all sorts can be stored on here. And same with addresses as well. You can store, home address, postal, next of kin. If they've got secondary work addresses, you can store it all on there as well. And the other thing that we also do in HR Partner, we keep an audit trail of everything that's changed in the system as well, because we know with HR related matters, sometimes, you have to go to arbitration or legal, and people will ask you, like, when was this entered? When was this changed? And, we do track all that audit information for you on here, and you can run a report off on that as well. So, you know that you're taken care of. So against the employee, I won't run through all of this because I haven't got too much time today. Our normal demo is about an hour long. I've only got about half an hour today, so I'm going to try and rip through this fairly quickly. So what we've got here is all the submodules where you can store extra information about your employees. So things like, from general notes that you can store, which is taking a little bit of time to load. Like I said, I'm sorry about this. My connection's a bit slow. So, you can store general notes in here, and anything you put in HR Partner, almost anywhere, you can set a reminder and you can send those reminders to particular admin users, and you can also upload attachments. So for example, here we're talking about Gracie's pay raise. So if you've got a spreadsheet that's got all the calculations for her next pay increase, you can actually scan that and, sorry, not scan it, but just upload it into this record here as well. So it's all in the one place. Then we've got things like positions and salaries where, where they've moved through your company and the wage increments that they've gone through as well. And once again, in here, you can scan, if you've got a contract that's been signed for this position, you can scan it and put it in here. And if you need to talk to the employee at a particular date for renewing the contract or for a new promotion or whatever it is, you can set a reminder in here as well. Absence and leave tracking is probably one of the most used parts of HR Partner. This is where you can track time off from your employees. So you can see here all the leave transactions. We also give you a heat map of the number of days of the week that employees have taken off. Useful for tracking of people taking long weekends, using up their leave on Fridays and Mondays and making long weekends out of their weekends. And we also do accrue leave in HR Partner. You can set up as many different leave types as you like, and we can actually do all the accruals for you in here based on the rules. You can set it up so it's 20 days a year, and 5 days gets carried over at the end of the year, and things like that. Set up fairly complex rules in the system, and we can handle it within HR Partner. And down here is just Gracie's own leave calendar, so you can see the days of the weeks that she's taken off here. Then we also track assets, company assets that you loan out to your employees. So things like cards, laptops, phones, and things that you may lend to your employees. We track the date out, date in, and you can scan photos in there as well of the assets we need to. Benefits and plans too. We can track things like healthcare plans, car leasing plans, and things that you may have on top of your salary package for your employees. We can track it all in here. Then we've got some more fun stuff like dependents and prior education. So you can track, the partners' names, kids' names, pets' names, and all that. You can also track, primary school, high school before they came to you. You can track all that. Another important area that's well used is file attachments. So I mentioned before, you can attach files to any of these submodules, but you can also attach just general files in here. So if it's a contract or a handbook or photos or whatever of the employee, you can actually stick them on here as well. And you can also opt to make some of these things visible to your employee on the portal. Generally, when you upload a file, it's admin only because it's private information. But if you've got a photo or a contract that they need to see on the employee portal, you can certainly go and make it visible on the portal as well. Oops, over here. You can show it or hide it on the portal. Then we've got other HR specific things like grievances and meetings and interviews as well. So you can record details of all those in here, and things like performance reviews. And now the reason why we have grievances separate, grievances used to be as part of just general notes, but we separated it out because you can actually hide these tabs from certain admin users. So if you've got an HR junior working with you, you can actually, have them go into maybe do the training and maybe the benefits and plans, but you want to hide things like the performance reviews and the grievances and things from them because they don't need to see that. Same if you've got an IT manager who's responsible for, allocating phones and laptops, You can give them access to the asset submodule, but hide things like performance reviews and attachments and dependents and other things like that as well. So we've got quite granular security in HR Partner, because we know usually it's a team using the system, and you don't want everyone to have access to everything. So we've got performance reviews. We track renewable documents like licenses and passports and things like that in there as well. We also keep a skills matrix, so you can track the different skills that your employees have and what ratings they have against those skills. And also any internal training we've done. So, first aid training, internal customer support training, whatever you want to track in here, you can actually, manage in here. And like I said, with any of these submodule entries, all of them, you can set reminders on there. So if it's a first aid course that's going to be renewed every 6 months, you can set a 6-monthly reminder. And if, they get certificates or diplomas when they do the training, you can scan it and put it all up in here as well. HR Partner is also a responsive web app, so it runs on the desktop great, but it also runs on tablets and smartphones as well. So the screen just scales to fit. So, so you can be on a bus, somewhere, as long as you've got an internet connection, you can log in on your phone and still get your information and keep track of your employees on there as well. So that's really it for the employee side of things. What I'm going to do quickly is jump across to the employee portal and show you what that looks like. As an admin, I can jump into Gracie's portal, but of course, Gracie herself will have her own username and password to log in. And so when she logs into her portal, this is what she'll see. So similar to the admin dashboard, but there's a lot less things she can do on there. So she's got all her quick tasks that she can do here, like requesting time off, filling in a timesheet. She can look at the company directory org chart, file an expense claim, and all sorts. She can also look at some of the things that are recent for her, like her recent performance reviews, for example, and a recent training. Now, Gracie can't change any of this information because this is admin only changeable, but she can certainly look at it and see what the statuses are. So she can see how she's tracking, really. She's also, here we're telling her that she's got a couple of timesheets she needs to fill in, and she's got a couple of checklists that are all overdue. So all these red warnings are there, warning her that she needs to get on top of certain things without you having to chase her up. Like, she can self-manage a lot of these things using a portal. She can also check her leave balances on here. So she can, at a glance, see how many days she's got annual leave or sick leaves if she wants to apply for leave. She can look at her last few leave applications. She's got a couple of approved ones there, a couple have been revoked. And she can also see on the calendar other people in her department and whether they're away. So if she wants to plan some leave later on in the month, she can actually see when anybody else is going to be away and just figure out her chances of getting time off. So that's her dashboard. Gracie can also change her profile. So once again, without having to hassle the HR managers or come to management, she can actually go in there. If she's lost a phone and got a new phone number, she can go in there and edit her phone number so that she can actually not have to bother you. And if she moves house, she can actually update her address on here without having to come and bother you guys as well. Or she can even upload her new profile photo as well. And she can do a little bio in there. HR Partner is actually used by a lot of remote teams who don't actually work together in the same building. So we have this concept of a little bio. So employees can just talk about themselves a little bit, a bit of personal information. So when you go to the employee directory, which you can access from the portal, or you can turn it off too. Like, you don't have to have the directory there. You can actually disable it. But if someone clicks on Gracie's record in the directory, they can see things like her contact information and a bit of a bio about herself and everything else on there. So you can disable the bio if you don't want people to use that, but it's generally a nice thing to have on there. And people can see, like, who she reports to and who reports to her and things like that all from the directory. And the bio can be, pretty simple. Like Ian's got a very simple 3-line bio here, but other people can have, pictures and a whole life story on there as well. Employees can also look at the org chart so they can see where they belong in the company. So, they can drill down here and they can sort of zoom in and zoom out of the whole chart as well. I did skip over the documents area. So employees, these are the documents that you make visible to the employees so they can go in there and actually have a look at it on their system. And you can also give them an option to upload documents as well. But you can turn that off if you don't want them just cluttering up with files. But if you need them to upload things like maybe timesheets or invoices or something like that, you can actually have them uploaded in here too. Now I'll skip over timesheets and checklists and all that for now. I'll come back to those. The other thing you can do in HR Partner is have a news portal, so you can actually disseminate news out to your employees via HR Partner. So once again, you've got a remote team. They're not always going to be in your main office. So this is like a little mini intranet where you can actually post news articles. So for example, this is an air charter company. So, any updates to air navigation regulations, obviously you want people to read about it. So you can have and it's all HTML here, so you can embed photos and videos and different fonts and everything else in here, and your employees can all have a little chat about it in here as well. You can also add polls like, where we're going to have Christmas lunch this year, or, what sort of training do you want to see, for example. This is a poll here. So employees can go in and they can vote for certain things like, where's the company picnic this year or something like that. And also chat amongst themselves about it. So we've got this news portal in there. We've also got a company library. So I spoke before about attachments that are specific to your employees. We've also got file attachments that are specific to the company. So things like procedure manuals and employee handbooks and things like that. Employees can go and download that from the company library. And you can have a multi-tiered thing in there. So like under handbooks, you might have handbooks for the ops team and then the finance team and maybe the warehouse team. And you can actually restrict files from certain departments as well. So we've got this full department security within HR Partner too. Hope I'm not being too fast here. I tend to get a bit excited and talk very quickly. So I'll try and slow down a bit. The other thing, we got a little fun thing on here. It's like a pinboard as well. So once again, if employees don't know each other that well, they can do little shout outs to each other, or have a little classified, bikes for sale or rooms for rent, or whatever they may have. So it's a little fun thing that employees can sort of keep in touch with each other using a pin. And all these pins and news articles and comments and all that, you can moderate as an admin as well. So if someone posts something that's not appropriate, you can go and delete it or edit it yourself too. So you can always manage all that. And I'll just go back to the dashboard again and just look at the other things that they can do from here. So like I said, the most common thing is requesting time off. So we've got this whole leave request and approval system in HR Partners. So Gracie wants some time out. She can click on the request time off button, takes her straight to the leave request screen. And now she scrolls down, she can actually see again here her balances at the moment, and once again the company calendar. So if she wants to take some leave in March, she can go forward and see, okay, there's some space there, maybe from the 23rd to 27th. So she can take the opportunity to send a leave request to her manager, Deanna, and she'll take annual leave, and it's say 23rd up until the 27th. And it'll also estimate in the future, because HR Partner is doing the leave accruals, it'll know like on that day she'll have an estimated 1 week, 1 day of annual leave. So if she's applying well forward for like Christmas leave or something like that, it'll try and guesstimate how many days she'll have at Christmas too. So she can, so it saves the employee having to do all the mental mathematics. We try and do all that heavy lifting for her. So that's 5 days. And so just put a little note in here, need some time off, and submit. And so that now shoots that request across to Deanna. Also, it shoots it into my Slack channel as well, because we have a Slack integration. We've got a Slack bot, so the leave request can go into Slack if you want it to, and the admin user can actually approve the leave request all within Slack. But if I go back to my dashboard here again as Deanna, I should see a new leave request come through on my to-do list. Just wait for that to refresh. I'm sorry, it's with the AppSumo promotion too. We've got so many new users on our servers, they're actually struggling a little bit to keep up. So we have to upgrade our servers this weekend, I think. But if I go down here, I can see, well, there's a leave request from Gracie Collins, less than a minute ago. So if I zoom into that, I'll be able to see, she's asked for annual leave. She's asked for that date to that date. Now, if I can also go down and look at how many days leave she's got left here. So I can see she's got 8 days balance, but she's got a lot of leave planned in the future. So she's really, got negative 6 days because she's actually taken a lot of leave. So I can reduce that. I can say, look, instead of, 5 days, I'll give her 3 days, and I'll give a little note. Give you 3 days instead, and then approve it from there. And I can also check the leave calendar just to make sure that, no one else is going to be away on that date too. So let's scroll across to March. I can see there's Gracie submitted leave there, and everyone else is taking leave early in the month. No one else is going to be away, so it's fine. She can take that time off. So I can go ahead and just approve that. It's done. You can see a whole history of, and you can go back into it later and see, who approved it and when they approved it and everything else. I can see that leave request has been approved, was sent just to me, and so yeah, so full tracking once again in the whole system. The other thing we've got on the portal as well is expense tracking. This is a new module. We only just brought this out last month, actually, the expense tracking. So very similar concept. Employees, when they incur expenses, they can claim it back from the company. So I'll send this claim to Deanna, and I'll say, I've done some company training. Done some offsite training. So obviously there was maybe some travel time. So I'll need to catch, taxi fare. let's say $25 for the taxi. And also while I was out, I had some lunch. So lunch at the pub. And let's say that was $13.50. It's a pretty cheap lunch for that. And they can also scan receipts and put receipts and all that in here. Now, if you're running on a mobile phone, you can also take a photo with the phone and actually attach it to this expense claim. And like I said before, HR Partner is mobile friendly. So if I actually quickly switch to a mobile mode here, you can see that the entire thing sort of, you know, scales itself. So it actually fits on a mobile screen quite nicely as well. Still fairly neat and understandable and everything else. Like it doesn't squish it all down. It just rearranges things in a smart way because it's a responsive app. So you can use it on a tablet, phone, or desktop. So I'll just submit that claim through now. And if I go back to jumping back to the admin portal again, if I go to the expense claims area and look at all the expense claims requests, I should see there's one from Gracie for the company training offsite. I can go and have a look at it. And once again, you know, I can check it out. I can, you know, change the reimbursement amount. And if there's a problem, like, you know, for example, Gracie hasn't given me any receipts here, so I can say, you know, hey, Gracie, receipts. And I can message her directly from here. So there's no need to jump out of HR Partner and go back to your email or anything else. I can actually just send an email straight from here to Gracie, and she'll get it as an email, and she can go and change and update the expense claim to add the receipts. So that's really quick. I think I'm running a real short of time. So I'm just going to jump straight ahead to the recruitment module, which is another, you know, big part of HR Partner. Like a lot of customers of ours use HR Partner purely for recruitment. Because we've got a fairly, you know, it's light, but it's also, you know, got some power to it as well. So in HR Partner, you can actually set up your job listings. So you can see here, there's 3 available jobs at the moment for Aerial Air, a fake company. We give you a public job portal. So it's your company subdomain.hrpartner.io/jobs. So that can be published to your social media sites or in print publications even. So anyone can go there anytime and have a look at your open jobs. And you can customize this portal as well. So you can see here, we put a photo of a plane and a bit of a spiel about Aerial Air Charters and our logo on the top. We've changed this to our company blue background, but you can, you know, change the colors of the background to whatever your corporate colors are. You can change the color of the buttons and the borders and everything else as well to suit your corporate profile. But so this is what people will see when they go to your public job portal. No need to log in for this. They can just go to that URL and they'll see the current jobs. So if I wanted to apply, let's say for the senior pilot job, I can view it. I can read about the requirements that I need, and I can go and fill the application form, the screening questions straight away. Now these forms are also totally customizable. This is a flying job, so obviously we're asking for things like, you know, how many hours do you have and what aircraft have you flown. But if it's a simpler job, like for example, the the marketing manager job, maybe, you know, you don't have to ask as many questions. So the job description may be longer, but your application form is pretty short. It's name, address, and, you know, what qualifies you, etc. So you can actually customize the forms to suit the job as well. So a delivery driver, for example, different form again, where we're asking them, like, you know, what sort of vehicles they drive and things like that. And they can upload resumes and all that as well in here. So and when they actually fill in this form and they submit it, it comes straight into HR Partner as an application. So if I look at that pilot job again and look at the applications, here's all the applicants that have come in, and they're on a little Kanban board here with all the different stages. So I've only got 4 stages for this job, but you can define, you know, as many stages as you want. You can have first interview, second interview, phone screening, you know, approved, rejected, whatever. You can set up your own stages, and then it's just a matter of just clicking and dragging people amongst between stages. And even within the stages, you can just click and drag people around as well. And you can just jump straight into their application, have a look at how they answered all the questions. So this, and I've jumped to the Stanley. This is how he's answered all the questions there. I can scroll down. We've got these scorecards in here where the selection panel, so you can have other employees and other admins on the selection panel for this job. And you can go and have a look. So I can look at what Troy's rated this person, and how about Crystal as well, how she's rated this particular person, read some notes on what they said. And I can change my rating as well. I can just go up and down here and change the rating and put my own notes about these scorecards. And I can also chat to the other people on the selection panel within here as well. So you can have a little natter about the person. And you can have a look at the resume they uploaded. And you can upload more documents. If you've got some meeting notes that come out of the interview, or interview notes, you can upload them on here as well. So everything's in the one spot. You can also communicate with your candidates on here as well. I can send Stanley an email straight away from the system. So I can just type in a subject and type in some spiel in here as well. Oh, I can use templates. You can save time by using templates. So if I want to thank him for his application, I can actually just go in here, pull up the template, and it'll form fill all the first name and job listing and everything else in here. You can also send bulk plates out. If I just jump back to the Kanban board again. So if I wanted to send an invite to everyone in the interview stage, I can click on here and say send them all an email. And I can once again use the templates. I can say first interview template, and it'll fill in their name, the job title, dates, whatever, for this particular applicants as well. So it just makes it a bit easier to manage your candidate part. That's what we're all about. Oh, and the other thing you can do too, which I just skipped over quickly, you can book in interviews for them as well in here. And when you add an interview, it'll send them an iCal link, so they can actually put it in their diary so they don't forget it as well. And we also got a job calendar in here, which is going to be empty because we haven't got any interviews scheduled in here. But as you schedule interviews, it puts it in this calendar so you can look at it from a week and from a day or whatever, and you can actually plan all the interview staging in here. And anybody involved in that job or anybody on the selection panel can actually also look at that. We also do push the jobs out to popular job boards like Indeed and Glassdoor. Optionally, if you turn that on, you can actually have your jobs pushed out there just to get a wider reach. So as well as having your public job portal here, your jobs get pushed out to Indeed and Glassdoor, to two of the biggest job boards in the world. And we're working on more. We've got Jubal coming next week, I think, which is a big one in Europe. And we've got a couple others we're working on as well. So over time, we'll roll out more and more job aggregate sites, and we'll get there. So we're coming sort of to the close now. So I'm just going to rush through just the last few things here. So yeah, we've got a whole so the checklist, this onboarding checklist is probably something that we need to focus on. So we've got a checklist on here which can be used for anything from onboarding, offboarding, training, whatever you want really. So it's just a matter of defining your checklist templates in here. So we've got one here for a new full-time employee. We have a look at that. These are all the different steps that they need to do. So reading a handbook, do the orientation, watching a video. And with any of these, you can actually edit it. So watching the video, for example, you can pull a video from your library that they need to watch on here. Things like reading a company handbook, you can point them to a document that's actually in your library as well. And there's other ones in here, which is like signing a letter of acknowledgement. That's an e-signature document. So you can actually, tell them to e-sign a document, health and safety agreement. And I'll show you what this looks like. So if I go out of here and have a look at the assigned checklist that we've already assigned to all our employees, we should have, oh, there you go. So I'll pick this first one here. So Matt Purcell's been assigned the new employee checklist 6 days ago. He's only completed about half of it. And as an admin, I can go in and check and see how he's done. So I'll pull up Matt's checklist. I can see here he's read the company handbook. He's done the orientation, he's watched the video, and I can cross-check this as an admin. This is one thing that we have that a lot of our competitors don't have. We've got this cross-checking ability on the checklist. So it's not just employee ticking it off. Some critical items like maybe uploading a file, like uploading a work permit or a visa. You don't want them just uploading a picture of their cat. So you want to make sure when they've uploaded something, you can check it, you can pull it up and check it, and you can cross-check, yep, that's a good upload of something that is important. You can also go ahead and open the document that they open just to make sure it's the right document that they've read. If they're signing a document, you can go and cross-check that they have signed it off properly. I'm not sure whether Matt's actually signed this particular one. I think he has. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he signed it and I signed it, and I can put my name in there as well, so that it's all official. And maybe finish it off by putting the date in here. Add that to the document as well. You can sign using, your finger tablet, or you can, just type in a signature type font as well in there. So that's the e-signing documents. Oh, and you can also have tasks in here that are not for the employee, but are for admins only to do. Once again, this differentiates us from some of our competitors. So things like buying a new PC for the employee, for example, that's nothing to do with the employee, but that's for an admin to do. So as part of the onboarding, there's admin only tasks. So like setting up the workspace, that's been assigned to a particular admin. So Marcelo is obviously the IT manager in the company. So he's the only one that can tick that off. I can't tick that off as an admin. That's assigned to him to do. He's the only one that can check that off. But I can tick off things like setting up the welcome lunch for the employee and things like that. So the employee doesn't see those, but the admins have to still check it off and finish it off. So that's a quick look at the checklist. And like I said, it's not just for onboarding and offboarding. It can be for internal training or any other thing that you want to deploy something out. So if you want people to sign a particular NDA or a particular training agreement, you can send it up to a group of employees as well. So you don't need to send it one-on-one. You can actually send it up to a group. So when you go to assign, you can pick multiple recipients in here. You can also send off the onboarding checklist automatically as soon as you employ someone. So if I go back to my list of employees, and as soon as I go to add a new employee, I can nominate that they get this particular onboarding checklist straight away as soon as they're added. So they'll get an email sent to them immediately without you having to go and manually assign a checklist to them as well. So we just try and make all that onboarding easier. And same with your recruitment as well. So if you're looking at a particular applicant and you think that they're a good fit for the company, let's say our friend Stanley here again. Come on, I'll click it. There we go. So Stanley, if I decide I want to hire him, once again, we just fill in all the extra bits like his employee code and things like that. And I can also say automatically send the onboarding checklist straight out to him. So so it's all about trying to save time for you and just automate some of these processes for you. Last thing I'll probably focus on is just the reports. So we've got a whole bunch of chart reports on here, like turnover and absenteeism and things like that, the general sort of HR type reports. But we've also got the printed reports in here. So if I want to go in there and see who did first aid training, for example, I can look at the training module. I can pick, let's say, first aid course, and I want to see only people who have completed the first aid course, and print that off, and bang, there's my list of everyone who's done first aid. And you can do it by date range, narrow it all down. You can also export any report to a CSV or JSON file, so you can then pull that into an Excel spreadsheet and do some more work on it there, so we don't have to rely just on a printed report. You can get the raw data. And when our API comes out middle of the year, you can actually then just directly go into HR Partner, pull the data out, put it into a spreadsheet or another database or a third-party system, a CRM, whatever you need to do there as well. Oh, another thing that I've quickly jumped over, probably the last thing I'll show you is when you edit an employee, we give you all the standard HR fields like their name, address, position, date of birth, and tags and things like that as well. But sometimes that's not enough. You want more fields. Well, you can have custom fields on HR Partner. You can define as many different custom fields. So we've defined, about 15 fields here. They can be checkboxes. They can be dollar amounts. They can be, date fields. They can be even time fields. Like if you want to record their start time, pets' names on here, how they like their coffee, whatever you want really. You can define your own fields, whether they're drop downs or text fields, and you can report on all of these as well. So when you run an employee report, you can say, I want to pick everyone who's got an allowance between 10,000 and 20,000, or oh, I'm going to list everyone who has their coffee strong, or something like that. So we've got all those options on there, and a bit of flexibility for you to build on the system as well. So that's really about it. I'm hoping Chris hasn't fallen asleep there. Chris, are you still there? I think that's
I am wide awake. Thank you very much.
I've got to say, it is 1:30 a.m. for me here in Australia. So I think I've done well to stay awake myself.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you staying up for this. Lastly, if you want to go through the AppSumo deal page and just kind of discuss, what you get with your first license versus multiple licenses.
Sure.
And I do want to throw out for everybody to say thank you for coming on this webinar. I am posting right now. So here's a 10% discount that is good through midnight today, Central Time, for HR Partner. So if you head over to AppSumo, anyone who's on this webinar, if you want to pick up a code or multiple codes, you can do that right now with an extra 10% off, which will save you $8 a code. And that's coming out of the AppSumo side of things. Just to say we appreciate you guys joining. So, Devin, you are good to go, but wanted to throw that out for everyone.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was totally unexpected and really kind of good, kind gesture from AppSumo. I really appreciate that. So thank you. So folks, the deal is we base HR Partner on company size. So we base our pricing, our normal standard pricing is based on the number of active employees that you have. So the AppSumo deal is a killer deal, really. So for $79, you get a lifetime 20 employees, and you can buy more than one access code. So $79 a pop, you get an extra 20 employees. So if you want 100 employees, just buy 5 access codes and it gets you 100 employees. So if you want 200 employees, the maximum you can buy is 10 access codes. So if you've got a fairly large company, certainly buy those codes and stack them up. So you can stack them, and you can also do it across multiple companies. So if you're a business person who runs maybe 2 or 3 companies, some with 20 employees, some with 30, some with 50, you can buy a stack of codes and then just use them. So you can use 1 code to start one company, 2 codes for company B, and maybe 3 or 4 codes for the bigger company, and do it that way as well. So we support one login across multiple companies in HR Partner. So you can have just the one single login and access multiple, 2 or 3 companies that you may own or work in as well. So you can split your codes out that way. Talk to us if you need to split, and we'll tell you how to do that. But yeah, and we also count just active employees too. So if you're in a high turnover, let's say you run a cafe or something where you got a high turnover of staff, you don't have to worry about terminated employees. They can still stay on the system. We only count the active employees that you've got. So if you've got 15 active employees and 30 or 40 terminated ones that you want to keep records on, just buy one access code, because your 20 employees will cover your 15 actives, and it doesn't count the terminated ones as well. So bear that in mind when you're purchasing your codes. But yeah, so certainly buy enough codes to cater for your company growth, because once this deal ends, I'm not sure when it ends, Chris, but I think it's a couple of weeks or whatever, when the AppSumo pulls the offer off, no more access codes available. So if you think your company's going to grow to 50 employees in a couple of years, buy 3 codes. Even if you're going to use one now, keep the others aside. Oh, you can redeem them all now, so that you got 60 employees, but just cater for how much you're going to grow in the coming years, and use this 10% deal as well, which is makes it even more fantastic. So what's that, make it about 60 something dollars for the deal. So yeah, certainly jump on it. And any questions, drop us a line, either in the comment forum here at the bottom. Leave us a question. Or if you've signed up already, click on the little blue button, the chat button down the bottom here, and you can check. You can see that there's Fiona, myself, and our support team and all that are there, ready to answer your questions as well. So feel free to sign up and ask us, or talk to us on the AppSumo forums here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Devin, for taking the time to do this. And Fiona, you've been crushing these questions in here. That's awesome. I know Sumolings are super excited about this deal. A lot of people have already been picking it up, like we talked about before we got rolling. So Sumolings on here, thank you for joining us. I hope you got a lot out of this. Again, you can use that code to get 10% off HR Partner until midnight tonight, just for the webinar attendees. And if you have any further questions, like Devin said, you can either drop those on the AppSumo deal page, or you can, I'm sure, hit up the HR Partner team directly as well. Devin, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, support at hrpartner.io comes through to our support lines, and someone will jump on that fairly quickly if they talk to us on there. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for hopping on again. Sumolings, thank you for joining us, and we'll be seeing y'all soon. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Get some sleep.
Thank you. I will.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.